Isn't simply a case of just hitting the centre of the club every time. You can hit the centre and have poor compression, and the game is still going to feel difficult, and it's not going to feel great off the face. Come down here, let me show you kind of what I mean. So when we talk about compression, we're really talking about impact. What happens at impact to give that feeling that we all want? So there's a couple of things we're going to target in this video. We basically need to be controlling the attack angle. We need that club to be travelling more downwards into the golf ball. That's really going to help. If you're too shallow, it's going to be difficult to get the right compression. So attack angle, we're going to target that. But then also we need to look at the path of the club. If I have my club path moving very much across the golf ball this way, with my face open, I can hit the centre, but it's not going to feel great. I'm not compressing the ball, I'm not transferring the energy. So we also need to make sure we have our path pretty neutral. We're going to work on that as well. And then finally, we need to make sure we're controlling where that club face points, which controls not only the shape of the shot, but it controls the loft on the golf club as well. So if we can get you to have a pretty neutral path, an attack angle which is down, and a controlled club face, you're going to get more compression. That's going to feel much better when you hit the golf shot. That's going to give you those results that you want. Now this is based on a recent lesson that I gave with the students. So we're going to do a little impact drill, which is going to target those three things. And then I want to cover something in swing, which is really holding this golfer back, and there's a very good chance it'll be holding you back as well, so we're going to cover that as well. Let's set up the first drill. So I'd love you to go ahead and set up a little station like I've done here. I've used an alignment stick, and I've used a putting mat here as my reference. You can use a head cover or something equally like that. So I had my target line, and this was angled outside the ball, but slightly to the right of my target. That's really, really important. And then just in front of my putting mat, I've placed my alignment stick, and you can see that it's around about 1.5 club head widths behind the golf ball. If I'm hitting the centre of the golf club, and let's say, even when I hit the centre, my weight is backing up, my club is moving from out to in, and my club face is open, and I know that I'm talking to you because that is one of the most common patterns that I see with the irons, weight back, club out to in, face open, you can hit the centre every single time, and it's not going to feel great. And what I'd love you to do from this setup is actually just go on to one leg. So all of my weight is on my lead leg. Okay, so you can see that there, my back leg is literally just there for a little bit of balance, but there's no weight on it. And what that does, it puts me in front of the golf ball. Bear in mind, this is a drill. It's not necessarily where we want to be. But this is going to give you the feels that you really are after. Weight is on this lead leg, okay? And that's going to help me land the club on the ground, but pretty easily miss that alignment stick. I find it actually quite difficult to hit the alignment stick from there. So what this little setup is going to do is it's going to help me land the club in the right place. If you land the club in the right place, that's basically your attack angle kind of ticked off. If your attack angle is too shallow, you'll be landing the club too soon. And if you're someone who backs up, you're going to really feel that in this little exercise. So weight on the lead leg, I call that the Flamingo drill. It's really going to help. Now what's the bag there for? Well, the bag is very simply there to control the path, the delivery position. I simply cannot hit that golf ball from an out to in position because this would get in the way. I'd clatter it, I'd get some feedback. So this bag is a bit of feedback, but it's also a nice visual. I can see from here the direction that I want my club to move into the golf ball. Because we angled it slightly out to the right, that's a neutral path. Because remember, the club's working on an arc. It will be traveling slightly into out, slightly into out, into out, into out, pretty neutral, and then back to the inside. So that's why this bag is angled slightly on the outside, as it is. Now, when I move my club back, notice how the club is pointing slightly down towards the ground. That's really key. I want to avoid anything where the face is pointing up. So club pointing down towards the ground. And what I should be able to do from here is take some little shots that are going to go very low. I want them to finish on target, if not a little left, because that's me controlling the face. Remember, I don't want to be leaving that face open. That increases loft and decreases compression. So if I can hit some little shots where I land the club, I miss this, and I finish the ball on target, I have ticked all those three things. I've got my attack angle, my path, and my face. It's going to feel phenomenal. Even though the ball might go 30 yards max, it's going to feel great off the face. Let me show you what that would look like. So we're going to go set up. This takes a little bit of kind of adjusting, but you can see how the ball is maybe some 4 inches inside my heel. I'm in front of the golf ball. I'm going to move the club back, land the club on the ground, and see if I can finish this ball on, if not left of that target. That is perfect. Have a quick look at this. Now, there's no divot, but you can probably just about see where I landed the club. It was around about here, and that was ideal because this is where my ball was. The reason there's no divot is simply the speed I used. It wasn't fast enough to create that divot. But you saw the ball flights. It was low, it was drawing, and I tell you what, it felt phenomenal off the face. And if you're someone who's probably never had that feeling, this drill is going to be fantastic because you're going to hit shots and your eyes are going to be open to what actually a good golf shot can feel like, and it feels great. So let me show you that again. Missed the bag, land the club. Now that finished a little bit right, but it still felt phenomenal. I still landed the club in the right place. This practice station is brilliant. This could be possibly the first time that many of you will be feeling and sensing what a great impact is like, what really high compressed shots feel like. And once you feel that, you're never going to want to go back. So once we know what the impact feels like, now let's go through a kind of swing fault, which holds so many golfers back. That was really kind of robs you of that compression and that strike. And it's actually to do with your trail arm and how it's positioned in the downswing. Let me explain what I mean. This trail arm is so important. If you can get this moving correctly, you're going to get those things that we spoke about a moment ago, kind of for free almost. So let's take a set of this golf ball. And let's talk about a delivery position. Okay, a delivery position would be wrists have worked the club up, arms have rotated the club out to the right. This is kind of where we would be in our downswing. From here, we would then, deliver the club. So there's two things present there. We've got the wrist set and the forearm rotation. Okay, this is what I see all too often. As the golfer comes down towards delivery position, when we look at it from the face on, it may look like it's okay. Those things are in place. But when we look from the down the line, my trail elbow is kind of stuck to my side. And when we look from the face on, you'll see that it's sort of touching the side of my body. Now from here, my trail arm or trail elbow simply cannot continue to move towards the target. So what happens? Well, it gets stuck and you flip because you can't get that elbow in front. The only possible way that you could do that would be if you had the most amount of body turn that you could possibly have, where the arm can still be stuck on the side. But for many of you, it's just not feasible to get that amount of rotation. We don't have the bodies that we did when we were in our teens and our early 20s. So when this elbow gets stuck to the side, you are always going to struggle to get compression on the golf ball. You're going to flip it. You've got to get this elbow in front. Now here's the key to doing that. Watch what happens when I, from this down the line position, try and find my delivery position. We go wrist set. That works the club up. Now watch what happens as I rotate my arms. Guess what? The elbow's got stuck to my side. How do I avoid that? Well, it's all to do with where the grip is relative to your body. Watch as I do that again, up, and watch where this grip goes relative to me. Okay, it stayed in its similar sort of position. Now let me show you a different position. Wrist hinge. Now I want you to watch where this grip goes now. Notice how it moved away from me. What that does is it allows me to get to here, where we've got those things in place, but look where my trail arm is. It's not stuck to my side, it's in front of me. Where is it from face on? It's in front of my right hip. So now I can quite comfortably deliver it forwards, get the arm into good position, get the hands forward, get the shaft length forwards, really compress the golf ball. So it's all to do with where this elbow is relative to your hip. If you get it stuck, good luck. You're always going to be flippy, you're always going to be shallow, you're always going to be launching it high. It's not going to feel great. So here's the little exercise I want you to do. You'll notice that I've got an alignment stick on the ground. Now I'm going to talk to you about how this looks from my viewpoint. So when you do this, it will make a lot more sense. You can see it through the cameras, but it will make more sense as you set up to the golf ball. When I take a setup to this golf ball, as I look down, my hands look as if they are right between my feet. Okay, they're right in here. Okay, and if I was to sort of move my hands like this, to me they now look as if they're above the ball. I appreciate they're not, but from my viewpoint, it looks like they're above my ball. So hands are for me between my heels. If I come back to a delivery position and my hands are between my heels, my elbow is stuck. I'm going to flip it, release it early, can't do that. So here's your delivery position. You need to be getting, at delivery, your hands to look as if they're above the alignment stick. Now my trail elbow is in position. It's bent, it's leading, it's in front of my hip, it's clear of my body. I've got space and I've got room. Now, how many of you have said to yourself, it doesn't feel like you've got the room, it doesn't feel like you've got the space, maybe it feels cramped? This is often the reason why. So these are great little rehearsals. You can just take a setup, hands are between the heels, backswing, work it down, hands are over the stick. Hands are over the stick. Now watch what happens to my hands as I deliver the club. Where do they go? We'll put a little line or a dot on my hands. As I deliver the club, they go back in towards my body. slightly in towards my body. So my hands are actually moving up and in at impact. Every golfer does that. Okay, we can measure that. That does not mean that is where the club is going, because we can get the grip moving in one direction and the club moving in another direction. Took a setup, up to the top, get into that space, elbows in front, little backswing, and go through from there. And we can start to get that real compression, get that squeeze on the golf ball, and get those strikes